A lot of people retire and they're worried about covering their healthcare costs. But what they aren't worried about is covering their healthcare costs once they reach age 65 and hit Medicare. This is one that so many people forget about, and it is so important as a financial planner to go over this with our clients and for you to just get informed on. If you don't know about it, first we're going to want to look at what IRMAA is, then we'll look at the costs of IRMAA, and then we'll also look at a financial plan to really show you how we're going to break that down and look at the differences and some things that we can discuss to hopefully avoid that for your scenario. If we haven't met, I'm Eric with Jazz Wealth Managers, where we don't just invest your dough, we like to educate you on your dough. All right, so let's not waste any time. Let's just jump right in. So what in the heck is IRMAA? Have you heard of it before? This is a crazy one. All right, so if we're looking here, IRMAA, when it comes to Medicare, Medicare Part B and D, this is right from the Social Security website. The income-related monthly adjustment, IRMAA, is the sliding scale set of statutory, percentage-based tables used to adjust Medicare Part B and Part D prescription drug coverage premiums. So basically, the higher your income there, then the more you may pay in premiums. Now, from there, though, just what I mentioned, let's actually look at the costs of this and what this looks like. So if you're at Medicare.gov, you can find this yourself as well. The main one I want to focus on right this second, just to not go too far into the weeds and make this video too long, is Part B. So if we're looking at Part B, the basics are you're going to be paying, let me adjust my screen here and I'll show you exactly what you're paying there. And so we are going to be paying right there it is. So $164.90 is the general Medicare payment for Part B, and that's your premium. And if you're making $97,000 or less as an individual on your tax return, you're good, or $194,000 or less. And now what they're looking at is the past 2 years. So if we're looking at this, if you read right here, if your yearly income in 2021 are in these brackets, it's for what you're going to pay for 2023. So there's a 2-year look back period there. Make sure you remember that. If you're doing any kind of conversions or anything else, they're oftentimes looking back there. So then from there, it goes up. So if you are not careful, and you may be watching this, by the way, and you may be saying, this isn't for me. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not going to have this issue. Oftentimes, if you're not doing the right things with your dough and everything's pre-tax, later on, it's going to catch you. If you have a decent amount of savings, a good nest egg, then you have to be very careful if all that money is pre-tax, because it could come back and bite you when you do the RMDs. So looking here again, what I want to look at is just the different brackets. Above $97,000 to $123,000 for an individual, or $194,000 to $246,000. It's going to go to $230.80. Now, the big thing, though, is look at how far this goes. Now, maybe this isn't you every year. Maybe you aren't going to have a $500,000 or above or $750,000 or above income. That's really those high net worth people that saved a significant amount of money. Possibly you're going to get an inheritance, though. What if you get an inherited IRA that has a large amount and you have a 10-year window to withdraw from that? Maybe you retire and you're 65 years old and you were fortunate enough to have a parent that lived to be 95 years old. What happens when you get that account from them and then you have to spend down this whole IRA within 10 years? It could really put you in that spot. Start thinking through this. These are the kind of things we like to look at, really think through with clients. It could be different, though. I mean, let's just say, it's really not completely uncommon to see, especially with RMDs, for somebody who saved up a couple $1 million to look at, later on in life having a $246,000 to $306,000 in income one year, and you're going to have a $330 premium. Think about this, because this is married filing jointly. If there's one of you, there's probably two of you. So if you're married filing jointly, you're probably both, if you're close to the same age, oftentimes you're both going to have that same premium. That's a lot more money that's unexpected in healthcare that people are having to pay. So how do we plan for this? What do we do here at Jazz Wealth? Well, let me show you a bit on just what we're going to talk about here with that. And so if we're looking here, I've built out a plan, Louis and Lucille Armstrong. So Louis and Lucille, they're retired. They're 65 years old. They're starting the Medicare years right this second. As far as their expenses go, this is probably something that you're like, okay, I could possibly relate with this. Their expenses are $5,000. Not a lot of money. They're not spending a lot of money in the retirement years. But then over here, their net worth, now they've saved up quite a bit of money. They've got a good amount of dough saved up. And so, we've got, 1.975 in investments there. But if you look, a lot of this is pre-tax money, 1.7. So if you're not doing Roth conversions, if all of this money's just sitting over there, that's what's showing for them. Eventually, that's going to hit them, especially because they're not spending as much as they're actually going to be making off of their retirement assets. So long term, what's going to end up happening is, Uncle Sam's going to come knocking on the door and say, hey, you're required to take out a certain amount of money. We want this money. Well, as that happens, this could push them into those IRMAA brackets. Now, for this scenario, because this is one that I've seen here recently with some clients, we're looking at having a pension as well. And if you have a pension and a Social Security, all these other things, these are all fixed income assets that are coming in. Now you also have to take the RMD as well. This could really bump you up into those IRMAA brackets. So let's take a look at exactly what we would do and how we're going to factor that in. So if we're going over here, we'll take a look at their taxes. And you can see just the effective tax rate and how it continues to go up with that blue bar chart. But if we're going to come over here, what I want to show you is without doing any Roth conversions, anything else, what I want to look at is their Medicare premium. So sure, in 65 all the way up until 72, they don't really have a problem. They're staying under the Medicare threshold. But what's going to happen is at 73, they're going to start to have to take RMDs. And from 73 on, they're always going to be over the Medicare threshold. And so if you're over that, that's something that's going to cost you a lot long term. So it's not just to convert Roth IRAs just because you have tax-free growth and all of these things. You also have to look at all of the other scenarios. Is something else going to come back and bite me later on in retirement that I haven't thought of? That's the kind of stuff we like to do here at Jazz Wealth. If you haven't, check us out. You can go to jazzwealth.com.
Thanks for watching. If you want to watch more FinTips videos, click here. Be sure to like and subscribe also.